Well, hello everyone. I want to talk about the basics of price action. Um, as you know, my channel is educational. I want to teach you about trading, the way I look at the markets, and I think a lot of other people are looking at the markets the same way because, as you may notice, once I provide you guys with more education and more videos, that the support lines, the trend lines, the patterns that I see in the market, they react. So when a trend line is there, price comes back to the trend line, it will struggle to go through, and after it bounces, it's because everybody is looking at the market like that. So bulls and bears are fighting. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna break that level, or are we gonna head back up or down, depending on its support or resistance? But let's start off with the basics of price action. I think the number one thing I look at is price action. Google it, even outside of my channel. Price action trading, guys. Really, you have to know what that is, how it works, and everything. As you can see, I start off at the weekly. Uh, why do I do that? I do that because price action is more valuable on the bigger time frames. You can imagine that when price struggled around here for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks before it finally took off. That's 4 weeks of battling between bulls and bears. So that's something. Over here we can see multiple weeks. These are even 2 or 3 months battling around this area. It took off, came back, battled some more. Finally the bulls took control and price went up. So it's always important to start, if you ask me, to start on the higher time frame. What we can do when we are on the higher time frame, of course, like I just pointed out, I think this is an important line. I think this is an important line as well because price struggling around there. Then of course we see now that this is a recent high, a top. We can see that price is struggling around here. We don't know yet if it will bounce back. It broke a little bit. Maybe it's a false breakout and it'll head back, but we don't know. We don't know yet. If I look at this, I think this can be an important trend line as well, because here it was resistance, here it was support, here it was support again, and now it's moving on. So always look at those levels when you're on whatever time frame you are. So price action, horizontal line, keep that in mind, guys. Let's move on to the daily chart. Of course we can see the same lines in here, and we see the patterns as well. Well, when I look at this, I think this is an important level as well, because I see a lot of times it acted as resistance. For some reason price had trouble moving out of that zone, and as you can see right now we are in a new area where price is currently looking to retest prior resistance, now support. It looks like for now support is holding, so that means that price will move probably a little bit higher and form a new range, just like ranges occur all the time. As you may know, probably market is moving sideways most of the time, and we would like to see it really move. So trending is just once in a while, so make sure you know when markets are starting to turn or starting to trend. It's early in the morning here in Holland, so excuse me for taking a sip of coffee. Well, let's get back to the price action. What you see is the following. Like I said, those levels are very important. This is also a level we have to draw in, because you know the principle. Let's show me the principle. Let's start with that. Higher highs and higher lows, and vice versa. Lower highs, lower lows. That's the thing that to me in price action is the key thing to look at to determine if a market is trending. And is it trending up, is it trending down, or are we in a sideways movement, a consolidation? Well, as we can see on the US dollar Singapore dollar is the chart we are looking at today. We see a couple of things. Let me point that out. Over here we see that price tested this support area a couple of times, like I pointed out also on the weekly. Then this happened. The price moved back down, but it didn't reach this point anymore. So over here we see the first higher low. Also we see, actually prior before that low, that this level got broken and we see a higher high. I don't think this is that convincing, this higher high, looking at this one, but you know, it is a sign. So after that this formed as well, so we got a higher high and a higher low. So to me that's interesting stuff. Then we see a second higher high followed by a second higher low over here. So to me these are indicators that price is trying to get back up. It's not that convincing when I look at this. It's not really strong movement, and we also have this area, this level, which could be a problem. So I don't know. I think probably about the second higher high, second higher low, I would have made an entry around maybe the break of this high, something. So and it did. I'm gonna point it out. Here was the point where we started to see a potential second high, and we saw, so price moved out of here pretty aggressively, and it made a third higher high. Very convincing, very strong price movement, and we're all the way up here. We broke an important level over here. We took that out. So these are all indicators looking at pure price action that tells me this market is starting to trend. Of course, we got a retest, which is very important over here. Retest, it formed also a low, but it retested this prior price action, this prior resistance now is forming support. So this is a very important indicator that price is not moving any lower anymore. It looks like the bulls are taking control here, and the bears are starting to lose faith that price will move down. As you can see, once price retested this and it got rejected, the resistance became support. You see what happened. Two very strong bars also over here. Momentum really took off. As you can see, try to look at this from a psychological perspective. Nobody knows what's going on here. People see this, and the big institutions, they look at the market like this. Not the amateurs, but I'm gonna help you guys think like the institutions. This is interesting. You know, this is interesting as well, but it's still in that range. Nobody has, you know, nobody's convinced that price is gonna move strong. Then we see this, and it's, you know, you see it's like this could be interesting. We see the second high low, and you see the price after this formation over here. Let me point that out. Around this, in this area, we got a lot of important information. Those higher highs and lower lows. And then what happened when we were over here? People started to get an insight. They started to get confirmation on the price movement. So what happened? You see the price starts to move really strong over here. Here's a little bit of bulls and bears that are struggling, because we know when we look back in history that this was an important level, but once it got took out, very strong bar, it wanted to move up. Everything that goes up must come down, so of course price comes back, people take profit, they had a nice run, they retest this. When it holds, then we get really confirmation to ride this one out. And of course we continue to look at this. Another important level, what happens? We see price struggle. It's very interesting. I remember when I first start drawing those horizontal lines, and I was looking at the charts, and I was like, man, I can look at the future. When I look back in time, I see that those levels were very important, and then I see this, and it's like, it actually, you know, it's almost a sacred line. So we see the break of this, we see the retest, which is very important. Of course, we see the high and over here again, then we see the retest like I just mentioned. Very important. Bang, price moved up again, very strong. It pretty much broke this resistance right away, which was the previous high over here. So to me it was pretty important level, but you know, price the year end, you know, it was the end of 2016. Price moved pretty aggressive by the end of the year. Now it's the new year. Let's see what happens. Nobody knows. It's a new year. But that's exactly what we see. Price is struggling over here. We don't know yet where it's going, and let's point that one out as well over here. So this is pure technical analysis. Price action, guys. Keep that in mind. Price action, higher highs, higher lows. The other way around, of course, is the same. Maybe we see it. Of course, we see some pattern over here. There was, where's price going? Price came up here. Here it made an attempt to move back up. It didn't. It dropped, broke this resistance. Of course, near the second resistance, it bounced. It never got to the prior resistance. Excuse me, guys. This was support over here. The resistance, a couple of spikes. Not. It didn't reach this level. I get into the candlesticks in another video, but price dropped after that really fast. A little move up, really fast, little move up, you know, and then we got in this range. So just to point out that what's happening here from the highs, then we got a lower high. This not really, but it acts as a lower high, lower high, lower high, and then we got this formation, and it was like, hey guys, let's pay attention. Those highs are not respected. We see new higher highs instead of lower highs, and of course the lower lows are in it as well. And we started to see, we didn't see lower lows, but we didn't see higher lows as well. That's very interesting. You see a couple of spikes again, but let's get into that another time. So we started to see a higher high, but it didn't really. This could have been one, but it got followed by an even lower low. And this is all consolidation, all consolidations. To me, it's not not an area. You know, sometimes a range trade, but that's a different story. This is not interesting. And then this happens. We started looking. Institutions start looking. We get conviction that we confirmation. I'm sorry, guys. Confirmation. Price starts moving, and we have a beautiful rally. This could have been a very profitable one. What about this area? Do you think this is a nice place to look at a new long? I don't know. I think it's a new year. You know, the fundamentals. We had a strong dollar rally. We are at an all-time high. Not an all-time high, but looking at previous high. You know, when I see this, I would wait for a correction. Personally, I would want to see price head back into one of those areas, and yeah, I want to see what price action tells me. Do I see higher highs, higher lows, or lower highs and lower lows? So keep that in mind. I hope I made my point with this first video and basics of price action. I'm gonna say it one more time: higher highs, higher lows. In a downtrend, lower highs, lower lows. Keep that in mind, guys. Good luck.